You're watching Fox 13's Good Day Tampa Bay.
Nassar was once the doctor for the U.S. women's gymnastics team. His victims include gold medalists, too. He was also on staff at Michigan State University. And we're going to be talking to an attorney during our 9 o'clock hour about the statute of limitations on cases like that and what can be done. All right. Russell, we'll get over to you.
Well, and Laura, I should tell you that attorney who will be talking about that will be coming from this panel of lawyers in our studio today. It's Ask a Lawyer Day here at Fox 13. Numbers at the bottom of the screen. So folks donate their time every month to come in and answer your questions. So please take advantage of it if you can and if you need to. Right now, though, we're going to talk about these 911 outages that happened yesterday around our area. And this is Attorney Hunter Chamberlin with us this morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Happy to be here.
And thanks again, really, for doing this.
Absolutely. I love doing this.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. I guess the question, and first of all, we're checking to find out if an emergency went unanswered because of this, and we still don't know that answer yet. Kelly Cowan's out on that this morning. But is there liability in case something did happen?
Well, the liability question would be directed towards two different entities. One is the governmental entities, the counties that administer the 911 system. But then the other question is Frontier, or whatever, I believe it was Frontier, that actually does the infrastructure, and as I understand it, was responsible for the outages. So with respect to the governmental entities, the first question is, did they do anything wrong? Did they violate some duty of care to the general public? Or do they even have a duty of care to the public at large? As I understand it, there's nothing that I have heard that the county itself has done anything negligently.
Well, and you and I were talking about this a little bit, and I think anybody who had a cell phone yesterday around, I guess, was it noon or so?
Right.
Because I knew some people who were in a restaurant. Everybody's phone went off, and it appears as though, and I think this was the people I talked to from the city with the TPD, City of Tampa sent out that alert that the 911 system was down. I mean, it looks like, at least in Tampa's case,
they did everything they could to try and remedy the situation, including provide alternate phone numbers to Fox 13 and other news outlets, so that there was a phone number that somebody could call that if there was an emergency.
Right.
So even if you get past that problem with respect to liability towards the government, then you have a qualified immunity or sovereign immunity issue, which is, it goes back to a separation of powers doctrine, where you don't want courts making legislative and executive decisions. So you can't sue the government for decision-making authority. And so you have to get past the qualified immunity question in order to hold the city or the county liable. And in a case like this, I don't know that there would be liability. And even if there were, the liability would be maybe they used a wrong cable provider or something like that. Yeah. But that smacks of decision-making as opposed to execution, and they are essentially immune from decision-making prosecution.
So if there is anything, it sounds to me as though you're saying it's going to go toward that provider.
Toward the provider.
As opposed to the government.
Correct. Now the question is, what did they do? Were they negligent in any respect? And as I understand it, there were two different issues. One was a routine maintenance on a router, and then the second issue, the second outage, was someone cut a fiber optic cable. So those would be two different acts that would have to be viewed independently. Was there negligence that caused that? And if there is, then did that negligence result in injury to someone? And that's how you would hold, for example, Frontier accountable.
Fascinating, fascinating. Hey, good to see you.
Thank you very much.
You got a lot of phone calls back there, man.
I'm going to get to work.
All right, get to it. Call us if you need us, guys.
Yeah, keep them coming.